What's going on, everyone? My name is IntegrityX, and welcome to the very first episode of MCGameBuilds, the series where we go and take your favorite gaming locations and build them in Minecraft. To start off our series of a bang, we are going to be working on one of the most infamous towns in gaming, Lavender Town from the original Pokemon games. Before we get started, I do need to preface a few things. The first of these things is which version of Lavender Town we are using, as Lavender Town has 3 versions, one from the original games, one from Fire Red and Leaf Green, and one recently in Pokemon Let's Go Pikachu and Let's Go Eevee. I have decided for the sake of this recording to go ahead and use the version from Pokemon Fire Red and Leaf Green, mainly because it has color and more people probably know about it. I've also decided to incorporate some elements from Let's Go Eevee and Let's Go Pikachu's version, so it will be kind of a mix between certain versions of Lavender Town. The only other thing I need to mention is that this is done in 1.16 vanilla Minecraft using the default Minecraft texture pack on a single player world. I'm getting no outside help and doing this all on my own. To start out, we need to make an outline for Lavender Town, that way we know where we are building. We are going to use the 3 easiest to define angles to start, this being the left, bottom, and right side of Lavender Town. These lines are 14, 21, and 12 blocks long respectively. This is using in-game steps to measure each one. Now that we're done with that, we should have a shape that looks somewhat like this. With this done, I'm going to go ahead and make the outline around the Poke Tower and Poke Center as well. Once you've done that, you should have a shape that looks like this. The Pokemon Tower was a little bit rough to measure, but that should be correct. Also, we run into a problem here when we talk about buildings and proportions, which I'll get into now. Here's the problem. Pokemon buildings exterior and interior are different in size. For example, the Lavender Volunteer Center, which lies in the middle of town, is 5 by 3 blocks outside. Now, if we go inside, it is 12 by 6 blocks, an obvious size disparity that makes building it in the outline we built earlier impossible. To fix this problem is pretty simple. All we're going to do is build the exterior of the building in Lavender Town's outline, and then put command blocks and pressure plates on the inside that lead to the interior of the building elsewhere. Before we actually start constructing the buildings, I did want to say I made these sand paths that are outside all of the buildings in Lavender Town. With no real room for detail, we are only able to add clay and smooth sandstone to make the building look similar to what it does in game. There is no room for any of the windows or any of the other exterior details that are pictured in game, as we only have a 5 by 3 area to work with. As we can't see the sides and the back of the building in game, I decided to make them look exactly the same as the front of the building. The roof was really simple. All I did was use stone slabs on the outside, and then I put polished andesite slabs in the middle to make it look like it does in game. After that, I made the second building in the exact same way. I also made the Lavender Volunteer Pokemon House in the exact same way, as it looks the exact same in game. I did put a piece of cobblestone right outside the house with a sign on it that stated the name of the building. The Pokemon Center was definitely the hardest building yet. I decided to use red wool on top and then carpet to show it sloping down. I also decided to lose the windows on top because no matter what blocks I use and how I put them, it just looked strange to me no matter what. I put glowstone inside and blue stained glass for the doorway. I also used a sign on top and put a small Pokeball logo in it. It's not very big, but it's the best we got to match what's in game. I also made banners that say PC on the left side. It took me way too long to figure out how to make them. I've also made the entrance sign to Lavender Town that talks about the Silph Scope. The next one was the Pokemart, which was probably the worst so far, just because it was so small. It was a 4 by 3 building, which meant that there was literally no room for detail. You just had to build a very dumbed down version of it and go with it. If I were building it not to scale, I would have actually added detail, but as I said, I'm building this all to scale, so this is the most I could do. As I said earlier, I did want to add some details from Pokemon Let's Go in, so I built a little flower bed out back. I also put in the Lavender Town sign right outside. The Pokemon Tower definitely has the most details so far out of any of the buildings. Again, with so little space, it's hard to do really any work on it. Once we're on the inside though, we can make it look a lot nicer. Anyways, for the support areas or the white lines going down the building, I just used bone blocks. I also used on the little inside portion a little bit of a lighter and stone brick, and for the windows I just decided to use black glass. At the top I went ahead and used light gray stained clay and black wool in the middle to make the shape of a pokeball. And if you look at the top of the tower, there's also that little point coming out, so I just used an end rod to signify that. For the doors, I used quartz stairs to kind of emphasize the stairs that are going up into the Pokemon Tower. Here's Lavender Town so far. It's a small little area. Again, we built it to scale, so this is why everything looks so small, and that's why there isn't a bunch of detail. But for as little detail as we could put in, I think it looks okay. Now it is time to start working on the interior of these buildings. First, we need to set up command blocks and pressure plates outside every one of these buildings. I spoke a little too soon. Actually, I want to look at the interior of the buildings before we set up the command blocks. This is the interior for the bottommost two houses. We have plants in each of the back corners. We have a sink over here, stove, refrigerator, window, got a TV, and then another window, and that would be a map normally, but it's just a painting right now because maps obviously don't work in a super flat world. In the middle, to cap it all off, you have your little table and seats. This is, again, for the bottommost two houses. If you're wondering why, they have the exact same layout, just different NPCs in game, and we're not doing anything with NPCs, so we can use this as the exact same house for both. Pokemart is a relatively small building, but it has some glass cases over here, a little box in the back with a plant in the corner, a little computer right here. I don't think the game even tells you what's back here, so I just put glowstone because I think it looked kind of like what's behind the casing. Also, there's a bunch of multicolored stuff in the little panels that are in the back of the Pokemart, so I just put bookshelves because they have a variety of colors. And in here, the little vendors and areas, I just put cauldrons. I feel like you can store stuff in there, so just decided to put cauldrons there, and that's about it for the Pokemart. Now we are at the Lavender Volunteer House. Relatively simple house again. They all look relatively the same. You have plants in the back two corners, a little table in here. I thought it looked slightly different than the other one, so I used scaffolding instead. Again, you have a sink over here, a stove / blast furnace, and then you have bookshelves here, which is a new addition, and then a TV. Slightly different styled windows. They actually look different from the other ones in the other back houses. You have this little section over here. I honestly couldn't tell you what it's for, but it's green, so I just put melons there. I also don't even know what's in the little fans in the corners, so I just filled cauldrons up with water, but that's about it for the Lavender Town Pokemon House. Alright, we are on our second to last building. This is the Poke Center. Have a little glass table over here with some seating, a PC right here, and then you have a painting, and then that's a monitor there. There's some junk over here, and then that is the Poke Healer. You got a bookshelf over here and a plant, and then these are the stairs. Obviously, most Poke Centers have an upstairs area. If you go up here, you have areas to trade with all of your friends or do wireless battles and connections, and you got some seating as well if you want to wait. Now we are on to the Pokemon Tower. Alright, it is finally complete. Let's now take our final steps for this build into the Pokemon Tower. First floor, just your little check-in area. This is built in the exact same way that the actual Pokemon Tower is in Pokemon Fire Red and Leaf Green. Second floor, we use soul torches from the new 1.16 update to the normal torches. Fits the theme and just makes it look better in my opinion. Third floor. Fourth floor. I actually don't remember how you get through this. Actually, wait, this might be fifth floor. I don't remember. We're on a high up floor. And onto the final floor. You got your different gravestones. And you got the final right over here in the pillars. And then if you want to get out, there you go. Anyways, thank you guys for watching. If you guys did enjoy, please remember to leave a like and subscribe down below. This is my first time ever doing something like this. I've messed around with map building before, but trying to do something like Lavender Town and just compress it like this is the first time I've ever tried something like that and tried uploading it to YouTube. So if you enjoyed it, please let me know if you want more. Let me know what town or what game area I should do next. I will take almost any suggestions from almost any game. Pokemon ones are easy to do, but if you have some other games you'd like me to do, like any of the Super Paper Mario games, or not Super Paper Mario, like Paper Mario games and whatnot, let me know. Anyways, thanks for watching. Have a good day, everyone. I'll see you in the next video. Goodbye.